allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call there.
Keith Gifford.
Here.
Ronald Colley.
Here.
Roland Huron.
Here.
Mitch Danoff.
Here.
Brett DeRoche. Roland Guidry. Roland Guidry.
Here.
Brian Marks.
Here.
McNeely Wrong.
Here.
Monty Davis. Mr. President, we have one.
All right, gentlemen, we've been presented the minutes of the last month's meeting. I need a motion. Second by Serrano, second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Approve? Against? Motion carried. All right, the President's report, we all know about the ABL workshop coming up. Harry gave you information in the room. And any other question, get with her. And she also passed out the Tier 2-1 financial disclosure. If you have a question, also get with Amy. Okay, anybody here from the audience to address the board? Nobody? All right, we'll move on to our general manager.
Okay, this would be a good one, because I don't know what pictures are coming up. Mary decided she was going to say what the picture's going to look like. So let's take a look.
Aye. There we do the presentation.
So that's what makes it fun. She got the picture. I got to figure out how. I got to make it story. We had the report come out from the hurricane. So it's a gigantic, the normal report, and the category 4 hurricane. This is the path put us in the eye wall. The eye of the storm, it looks like, if I remember reading correctly, 14 to 15 miles wide. Okay, that kind of made sense when they said the center passed over Ushon, but the eye didn't quite make it right out. So that's about 6 miles distance, so it kind of makes sense that it's around 14 to 15 miles. But again, that put us in, and that slight little turn over here kept us in it a little bit longer. Now, what they did, just to see what the storm had changed a little bit, they said if it went this way and went just to the right-hand side of us, now we would have flooded on the southern end over here. And again, that's the computer model say that. I'm curious because I remember when Betsy passed, again, we didn't have any substantial levee. Well, Betsy passed right kind of this way, okay? And it kind of hit that spot right here. And we had a little bit of flooding in Golden Meadow, but most of the solid food didn't flood for Betsy. Now, the year before, we flooded the hill, of course, which is way over here. So, but they're saying also this storm that's going this path, that the West Bank levee, that flood authority, you know, that spent billions of dollars, they said it was probably over top, which is kind of interesting. But in any event, it gives us an idea, but it is a strong category 4, 5th most intense storm to hit the United States in history. Now think about that. The 5th most intense. And basically, our system handled it. That's I did good work. I tell our people in the field, and spend that extra hour every day makes a difference when you have a storm like this. And we have the whole report, if y'all want a copy of it, something like 160 pages or something. But the important written stuff is only maybe 20, 30 pages. If y'all want a copy, just let us know, we can send an extra copy. Okay, the real report. Anybody recognize what this area is? It's
Chi-Chi.
That's Superior Canal. Oh, and that's when it was full from the storm water. And this is our water canal. This thing is 12 to 14 feet deep, completely filled in well, more than well, this is marsh. It's almost solid marsh.
So it's silt and marsh, they just push it.
That's right, silt and marsh. I mean, solid. I mean, I saw the aluminum hull halfway out was so thick.
Wow.
And when they tried to dredge to get one of those push bolts out, it would keep falling, and they had to put it on the landing track through. But this is right at the Superior Dock, and you see it finally did clear up. You know, it took all these months to clear up. And again, in the Bar Canal. And it kind of flipped. This is, those were foliar for the pulpit. And this one, we have the debris over here and completely clear. I'll tell you, our guys did a great job. We have the recontractor did a lot of stuff. Okay? And when it comes to the organic stuff, our guys did a lot of it. And right now, we've got just about all of it off the levee. There's some of it's right on the edge of the levee, but it's still off. And now we can start working, we're putting on seeds, trying to get grass on, and of course making the repairs where we need to make the repairs. Here's the floodgate looking south, and there's a lot more water than there was before the hurricane. And we had a contract to dig up the bypass channel, throw the dirt up here because we need to do the repairs right here. We had erosion. The levee, the berm on the outside, eroded all the way to sheet pile here. So that's the most serious repair that we have left to do. And we're going to jump on that. This dirt's kind of dried up, the conditions get right, and get this rebuilt over here. Some repair here and improve the loop wall on either side of it. We need to get that more fortified. So that's all. That will all be improved. And we're hoping to get all of that done before June 1. Now here you go. Here's the floodgate to the lock. And like I said, there's not much left on the outside. There's a loophole. Like I said, we need to, there was some erosion on either side, and we need to just thicken both of these sides up. There was some damage done over here, so we're going to have to do some damage repair. Most of the other repairs have been done. And that levee looks good. I'm trying to figure out where it's at. That's just south of Clover. Our guys went to the excavator and just push that material out. That was the marsh with this enough neighborhood to have dirt on the other side. And that is that camp in the middle of the marsh out here. That's pushed out there. Again, that's our guys clearing. This is the improvement that's being done on section F. That's the one between Cloverleaf North toward Delta Farms. This is new dirt we raised in the ground, and our guys came and took off some of the tree areas that were encroaching on the levee, so we can be able to maintain this like that. Again, that's the same area improvement on that, we call it F levee, between Delta Farms and Clover. Again, our people went out and cleared this up. That job has come out real well. This is where Delta Farms Road is right here. We're looking toward the bayou. This is the ramp that goes to pump station number 7. That's the pump station below. And contractors did a great job on this work. Let's see, I'm trying to recognize where this is.
Seaside, next fall.
Which one is that?
Seaside, next fall.
Seaside, okay. At Fall, is that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a ton of debris. This is the farm, Paul Dufresne's farm. Ton of debris. This is cleared out. We're still raising. That's the area between C South and C North. That's again just south of Paul's farm connection. That we're raising this. We got the levee south of there. We've gone to 18 feet. This was at 13, so we're going to try to bring it up to about 16 if we can. And that's looking in the opposite direction. That's looking towards Bullet Camp. We have the contractor, GIS, has built this levee up close to 18 feet, but we still have debris over the toe of the levee and up on the side. This still needs to be pushed out. And here's that's our machine, Rick?
That's Scopo and Son.
Couple, okay, one of our contractors. And now he's pushing the stuff out. Yes, here it is, and we have to finish doing this. And he's doing a good job. It would seem like this would be having water a a lot in there. He's doing a good job of keeping some elevation on it and pushing this on. That's all debris over here. It was debris all the way to here. They just flattened it out. I think we're gonna get some good growth over here. Again, this is supposed to be 18 feet right here. Looking in the opposite direction, again, this is the stuff he's pushed out, that's the debris on the outside.
Just move that debris just there.
Yeah, you just flatten this out. Hopefully this is gonna, as the debris starts to sink, it's not gonna hold this water. That's what we're hoping. If not, we will figure out, we'll bring some dirt to try to get it dry, keep on improving. But the main thing is now it's exposed and we can hopefully get some grass over. And I think, hit the base on, I think.
Station 2.
And again, we've got this up to 18 feet. Got the levee in relatively good shape. We can still do some of the debris outside. It's finally starting to sink, so it's starting to open up, but there's so much less marsh out there. Just hard to recommend. This is headed south of base, so clear the levee, pretty good. Still have some big pieces on there. We're gonna have to figure out how to get these major pieces off of the levee. Yeah, still, again, that's an area that's been cleared. And again, we used to have a lot more wash out here, but that's all alone now. Okay, so looking on either side of the levee.
Yeah, one picture was right after.
One that side, one's outside. Again, improving, again, that's the outside. Here again, our contractor pushed all the debris out there, and that's the tore the levee. And there's our levee over there. Same thing, look at this is heading south toward, Galliano Golden Levee. And here we're on the ground looking up, and that's the work we've done on improving the levee. Again, some more work, we've got it cleared, and new levee, the ground floor. It's another levee where we push this out the side. That's just on the east side, because that's the whole picture. Good marsh that rolls on the east side. Again, this is back, this on the east side, looking south.
That section.
That's section F that we've been raising. The contract is almost finished, and he's been trucking that material in. I've got, Joe, we're going what, 14 here? 14 even. We're hoping to keep a 13-foot elevation, so it's compaction will still be above the 14-foot. And again, shots of the same area. Again, the contractor's done a really good job, really nice levee. Same spot headed south. Same area. And this is pump station number 4. Okay. This is Yankee Canal going through here, and actually Yankee Canal kind of going through here, this side. And that's the Borough Canal. That's the little 40-acre canal that made the yellow in the form. Now it's about 3 times the water, so that'll flow to the pump station. Here's the pump station. This thing is completely full of debris. It's been completely cleared. It's in good shape. The levee's been maintained and put back in shape. Now we just got to keep the grass growing. But this is, man, I mean, wide open. Wide open. You used to see at least little squares where you have to roll them out of forms back in 1910. You could still see some of the berms, but man, yeah, it's bad. Again, this is looking from that. This is the crawfish line over here. Yeah. And so the contractor was digging out the dirt and he struck that SBL. Was that?
That's where SBL would work.
That's exactly right. And now we're just about finished that job. This is 8 East, and we're getting some. This is the protected side, and we've worked and kept the erosion back, but this storm blew out most of our protection, so we'll have to go back in and maybe invest a lot more money and make them more permanent. Try to put blocks in here. That,
We had some bonding.
yeah, and she found it, they kind of kept it, but, these storms have just, yeah, that kind of wind, kind of wave action. We noticed that this, where we have plastic sheet pump and rocks that were installed by the Corps, back, say around 1990, we did that. Well, some of the rocks got pushed around, but everything stayed in place, and we didn't lose anything. So we're looking at doing something similar to that. And we can see how much. This is the inside. Yeah, no, this is the inside. This is the outside. That's an area. That's from the Yankee Canal south to where the block is. Only east south. So that's the one place we need to. I mean, it's a lot of areas we have to deal with the children, especially over here. We have to get serious about it. Yeah. I said, man, that's good. It does a little bit of a challenge, I make it up something.
That trail or whatever that was back there, there's no license plate on it or nothing?
Oh, yeah, I think there was a license plate.
Was that seafood shed? It came all the way from
Yeah.
the seafood shed, another side off over there.
got
There were three of them.
Yeah, they took some plastic container out of the back.
It was red and pink.
But, yeah, we're gonna take each piece by each piece and try to figure out the best way to get it out. If somebody wants to pick it up, salvage, stand on, so, well, whatever they, anyway, we'll view it as it comes. Okay, any questions? All right. Bond commission approval for the bank loan, they approved 12 million after our discussions with our executive committee, and our advisors on this project. We're looking at, 7.5 million is what we're gonna ask the banks to agree with us. And so what we're gonna have is there's a resolution that we have to pass. It's a 48-page resolution. So our bond advisors did a good job. And what we need to do is the board has to approve of that resolution, and it needs to be voice and vote per person. Okay? So here's the roll call for the approval of the resolution.
Have a motion by Mr. Ronald, second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we'll do the roll call.
Okay. Keith Gidry,
Yes.
Ron Colley,
Yes.
Roland Huron,
Yes.
Mitch Daniels,
Yes.
Brett DeRoche is absent, Roland Gidry,
Yes.
Brian Martz,
Yes.
McNeely Ron,
Yes.
and Monty Davis is absent.
Motion carried.
Okay, now we have just a general vote will work, but we have the terms of the agreement, talks about the, when we borrow the percentage of interest and the conditions, you can only take out 4 times, minimum of $500,000 per withdrawal. We see all of this fits in well with our situation right now. So, unless there's any other questions, we'd like a motion and
I'd
a
like to
second.
inform people that this is a consortium of the 3 local banks
Yeah.
that we're borrowing from. It's not outside money, it's local money that's being loaned to
That's
us.
one big 12.
Seven.
All
Yeah.
three contributed to one big lump, yes.
Gotcha. All three got together and they're gonna.
3 local banks and with what we borrowed from each other. So we need a motion and a second.
Okay. Moved by Matt, second by Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, that's it. Just a done job, right? Yes. Got it done. All right, so now we have 7.5 million to handle our reissue, and that's tied to the debris and hurricanes. We can also use some of this for some of the insurance money that I paid, also pays our engineers who handle the debris job, and they have to have a person to verify the debris reading, and so metric with that company. So we'll be using this money to pay those contractors for all types of debris.
In anticipation that we're gonna get it back from people. Or
And
90% of it. Is it 90%?
The first,
First month.
the first 3 million we'll get 100% back, all right? And then after that, we'll be getting 90%. And so think that the money that we are not gonna get repaid by FEMA might be around $500,000. Okay, so out of starting off with the estimation of 1 million cubic yards, estimation at $25 a cubic yard, which went from $25 million, it looks like we will have to come up with $500,000, which is pretty good for our taxpayers.
Sure.
And we've got to thank the federal government for at least that part of what they do. Flood insurance update. It's, what is it? Yeah, it's not flood risk, it's risk rating 2.0. I know that our past president, along with past presidents from Southeast Louisiana, had a meeting on the phone with a FEMA representative that Garrett Graves sponsored. And they asked them certain questions about exactly what was going to happen. And some of the answers were that we don't know yet. Now, it infuriated everybody on the phone call because here they are, started the program in earnest April 1st, and they're still not telling everybody everything about it. We still don't know how they're going to treat levees. So there's a lot of frustration on that phone call. And there's some laws that you're supposed to let people, when you put in regulations on people, they need to know what's coming. And they haven't done it, so hopefully somebody's going to sue them to make them say exactly how they're looking at things, and then we'll go from there. There's been a lot more action now that April the 1st has happened. There's a lot more legislation being sponsored by different people, not just from Louisiana, but also from the East Coast. Have been looking at this legislation now, hopefully to reduce the plan, which is basically getting 18% increases every year till you get the actuarial rate, which could be, we're hearing some numbers like maybe a house that was paying $400, $500, and they have to pay $5,000 a year. That's the kind of discussions that we're doing.
My personal experience was 3 years ago when my home, I was paying right around $1,500 for flood insurance. And then when the new deal came in, I went down to $400 and something a month. Last year went up to $500 something. This year's up to $675. So it's creeping its way back up again, even without action from the federal government for any of it.
Yeah.
So it's coming back no matter what.
Yeah, but the thing, the whole idea, this is the big problem with this. The flood insurance program came in after Hurricane Betsy for one purpose, to make flood insurance affordable. Okay, the privates had gotten out, so how could you make it affordable? So it's a government program, it's not an insurance program. And you can say, well, it's what, 23 billion in the red right now, okay? But this is a program that the people who benefit from it actually pay into it, okay? And actually with some better management and understanding of what it's supposed to do. This whole system is based on the 100-year flood. That whole system is designed to build so that you avoid the 100-year flood. But when the 200-year flood happens, or the 500-year, maybe you should go to the Stafford Act to pay the bill, and not the program that wasn't designed to handle that level of problems. There's also some ways in the program itself, if they handled it differently, we would be near in the black anyway. So that it's just the way this is the way the governor's chosen to do it, and we'll see where it goes from here. Any questions? Grand Bayou floodgate operation. Grand Bayou floodgate has the engineers who designed it gave instructions on how to deal with it. We have agreed to be a backup for Terrebonne Parish and work in the Grand Bayou, so we have Kevin Terrebonne go in and go through the operations of it. And we're going to look at Terrebonne. They've got a whole bunch of gates and structures they have to close. We've talked about helping them out. They're responsible for their primary responsibility. But if they need some help and we're in a position to give them help, we will give them help. But it's their responsibility to operate it, and we'll help them when we can. Unless prefer going a different direction. The rules lock update. We've been dealing with our $5 million to pay for it, and then we had the parish is going to be $5 million. And we had met with Chip Klein, now CPRE, some wrong, the budget came out, their budget, and they have put $5 million up in the CPRE budget to help pay for the Tetris Square Walk, the Rose Walk project. But our estimate now, because of the 40% increase in almost all bids, because of what's been going on with the price of everything and inflation, our engineers have estimated it might cost now 25 instead of 15. So we will see, we will move forward and see what happens with that.
At the finance committee, executive committee meeting, we had played with the idea, we've been approved for $12 million. Looks like we're gonna spend $7.5 million on debris. At least $4.5 million months floating around that could have been used, that we possibly could use that for our additional share to put in the floodgate, but our attorneys informed us that money had to be for a specific purpose of the debris removal or any damage that we had experienced now. It couldn't be used for that. Would have been great to come up with that money. But Joe, that's a firm estimate, 25 million? You think it might go much higher than that?
It's not a firm estimate, it's an estimate based on the plans and where we are now, and the prices that we're seeing now. I mean, we haven't got any bids yet, per se.
You have any indication maybe it might come down after, when things get normal again?
Maybe if things got normal again, but when are they gonna get normal?
But Joe was mentioning, y'all talk about the price of concrete for the first time is higher than the price of steel.
Price of concrete right now is $300 or $400 a yard. Normally it was $140 to $150 a yard.
Double.
Steel went up, but then it has been coming down lately.
Well, that's good. You're building that thing on steel. Good news. All right, you're up 10% today.
But again, as we talk about often, it's something we're gonna have to look at. I mean, we're providing flood protection right now with our floodgate. So, we'll have to see what that cost gets to if we have to, the lock, if it has to be put off a while.
Yeah, and look, now that we've got this money with the bond, because look, we didn't know the repairs of the levee, we didn't know the recourse, we didn't know how much we'd be out. Now that we know what we're out, now that we see we can have this loan, so we've been been conservative with our money. We've had a little project at Redton Canal that we've looked at by putting another siphon there. We put another siphon there, we're gonna, instead of 2/10 of a foot and 24 hours of pumping, we can handle 4/10 of a foot. That's a lot more control, which gives us more of an opportunity to open the gates and not quite have the problem. So it's another step, if we ever get the lock and have the siphon there and the siphon over there, we would have some really good control of the volume of that thing. So, and that's why we try to head to is keep improving it, and we'll play the best hand we can depending on the money situation. We'll continue working that direction. Any other comments on the rules lock? Okay, the purchase of a crossover utility vehicle side by side. We have talked about this for a couple of years, and this piece of equipment, the advantage to it, it's light, and we can pull a fuel tank behind it. We do have some work that our excavators can do sometimes, but we can't get fuel to them. And so, and we've had some other uses for this, because it's light, some of your big equipment, just regular trucks you can't get somewhere with this thing, because it's light and small, you can get to it. So, we went ahead and I approved the purchase of a state contract, but I'd like for you all to vote the approval of that purchase. It's $12,000, I think there's a picture of one in here, the one that we get. And again, it was on state contract.
Because you put your foot in the trap, now you want us to pull it out.
It's a second hand.
No, it's
I'm going that we said we had.
It's the first hand.
Thank you. All right, I have a motion by Mr. Ronald, second by Mitch. We approve the purchase of the site design. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And the right of way that we have near our pump station number 1, is the boat launch, Golden Meadow. We transferred the right of way to the canals around there and the ponding area around where our pump station is. Allow the parish to make improvements in that area. And that was, we agreed to do that last meeting, so it has been accomplished. And now, Conoco, Phillips, and the parish will work out agreements as to do improvements. Any questions? All right. Again, we showed the levee repairs, continued levee repairs that we need, and we are doing it, and money is working out so far. We have, not really have to stretch ourselves too much, but we're getting very close to finishing the repairs, and that's the main thing. Have them ready so that we can now concentrate on getting grass to grow where those repairs are. And then erosion control on the two of the system. I was just thinking we might want to authorize work as we need to along the eroded areas of the levee system. And again, whether it's $100,000, $50,000, $25,000, just set up the amount of money that we can make the improvements as we need to, and then if we get to that point and we need to spend more, we'll show you the work that we've done and see if y'all agree that we need to do more work. I'd like to have some type of money amount that y'all would authorize us to do that. Basically, work with rocks and sheet pile to try and get the best job for the least amount of money.
In this
At
area.
least I go into the, we're gonna go gather erosion, that's all.
All right, looking for a motion, recommendation of our general manager to approve spending up to $100,000 on repairs to the total system. Moved by Roland Kidder, second by Roland Curall. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, you'll see a list of the brief invoices, which is the contract of that dynamic doing the debris removal. And so all of these amounts, these pre-applications have been submitted and our engineers have approved. And they've also been verified by the metric group. So our engineers have looked at it and see what metric is said, see the numbers. So we'd like for the board to approve these and accept these expenditures and allow us to get into the process of paying bills.
When will this money be dispersed to them?
We
signed the check
I
already.
think, I'd just like for us to go ahead and approve that right now, and then we will decide when to actually distribute. I'd like us to first approve the bills because they haven't approved by our engineers. And then we can discuss how we want to make the payments. If we do get the $3 million this week, which we think will happen, and we take $2 million coming out of the bonds that we just approved, that's almost, $5 million that we could pay at least the first set of bills on, and pay metric and pay our engineers. But I'd just like y'all to, again, accept that, and we would have some more discussions exactly how we will distribute.
Mr. Attorney, do we have to
No.
individual? Okay, just the amount, just.
Yeah, you can approve if you just
Okay.
vote to approve dynamic pay app 3, 4, 5, and 6 will be
Okay.
sufficient. And then I believe metric pay app 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Appreciate that. All right, here's a motion of our general manager and advice of our attorney to approve these invoices from Dynamic. Moved by Brian, second by Roland Curall. That we pay application number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6 to Dynamic. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, have a motion by Mr. Ronald, second by Mitch, that we pay invoices, pay application number 1, 2, 3, and 4 to Metric. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I have.
That's it. Okay, they don't want to talk. They're not presenting anything?
Who's that?
We just gotta,
You don't need to present anything?
you don't have to.
Not unless you have questions.
Okay, we just have to sign out.
You get paid by the word.
We can't afford you. All right. Engineer report about CPRA. Not here. Corps of Engineers. Not here, that's odd. Project engineer, Pisciola Associates. Joe?
All right, on our section F, levee improvements, onshore materials, the contractor, he's hauled in all the dirt that he needs to build the levee, the required section. He's working in an area from about the middle of the project down south to Globally Farms. And basically he has fine grading to do to get it in good shape.
So is your shaping right now?
We're just shaping for the next couple of weeks, weather permitting. He should be finished before the next
Yeah,
week.
and just make sure that we close the gap on the little floated levee.
Yeah.
So they can.
They cut it down a couple of feet so they can cross with the
Right.
trucks.
So make sure it gets back there.
And that is above Clover?
Huh?
That's above Clover?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it'd be, on the 40 Yarmouth Canal levee, between, Globally and the front. We kind of cut that levee down, but to cross with the trucks, but we're gonna fill it back. And, we do have payout in the 12 in the amount of $112,400.94. We do recommend you approve that.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to pay onshore material, pay request number 12 in the amount of $112,400.94. Moved by Mac, second by Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
On the Rose Block project, Wendell kind of reported on the budget part. We do have to get some more information to the Corps. We have our design drawings for the reverse condition, how we're modifying the structure, and we have to do an engineering report along to submit with that. The drawings will be finished this week, and we'll submit everything to the Corps.
Joe, I have a question. Assuming that we get all the money we need, get everything lined up, get the contractors lined up, how long do you think before we actually get Corps approval on this project? And can we advance without Corps approval?
I don't think, you probably should advance without Corps approval, but we only have like 3 outstanding items with the Corps to get approved. One is they want an operations manual, which we can get them that. 2 is this reverse condition that we had to re-engineer because of what happened at HNC. And the other one was some calculations from the control house, which we already have. So I think we're imminently close. So we could go out to bid, say sometime this summer, with everything all lines up.
And we're talking about a year and a half construction.
I would say more than 2 years.
By the actual construction itself, you don't have to go to bypass like we did in Golden Meadows, or
No, sir.
work while it's through the river?
We're gonna build a structure at a shipyard, and we'll float it in, and we'll turn it into place, and sink it in place like you sink it right out.
How long will that shut down the bayou for you?
We're gonna have probably several intervals of shutting down the bayou, on the order of probably maybe a week at a time, but most of it we're gonna try to do, where we do work during the daylight hours, and then we open at night. Okay, that's the plan. So it'd be 12-hour shifts of closure, and 12 to 14-hour shifts of open. Okay, on D South Phase 3, that's the pictures Wendell showed you at pump station number 4. Our limit contracts is the contract we're currently hauling, and placing material on the levee. They're making decent progress. We have pay application number 8 in the amount of $24,945 even, and we recommend you pay that.
Okay, Norman, you heard the recommendation of engineer to pay our limits, pay request number 8 in the amount of $24,945. Moved by Roland Curall, second by Roland Guidry, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to the pump stations, Grand Isle Shipyard's a contractor. They've been working on pump station number 4, primarily doing sheet metal replacement. We've been working with them on trying to order electrical equipment in pump station number 4, number 7. We need to schedule some more meetings with them because their progress is slipping. But, their progress is slipping like everybody else's progress is slipping. It's hard to get materials and hard to get labor. But we're going to have a meeting pretty soon with them to figure out what their new schedule is. And there's no pay application this month on that project. And Hurricane Ida storm damage repairs to the main office and mechanic shop. We demoed both buildings. The maintenance shop was bid on Wednesday, March 23rd. Frisco contract was the low bidder in the amount of $348,507. That was quite a bit over our estimate and what the insurance company had agreed to pay. I think Windows had some discussions with the insurance company, but we went back to Frisco and asked them to reduce their scope, which would mean they wouldn't finish all the interior part, the office and the storeroom and whatnot. They would finish the envelope of the building and get it all, the electrical and everything all up to the speed where it was before. And they reduced their price to $264,600. So
Amy had to go in with the contract, insurance company, and asked them because of this high price, what they might max out at. And what did you come up with? They came up with $290.
okay.
So how much is
$264,600 is what they're
So
quoting.
we can get it done within the budget.
And the plan is to do the other stuff on our own? Or
Either do it on your own or do it with a contractor at a later date. I think it would make the building functional and
Yeah.
you would have use of it. You just wouldn't have the office and the room.
And again, we have the important part. We
The roof over it, what you think about it, I mean, y'all gonna be working in there.
We can still work with it, as long as we out the window, we got doors and stuff that we can move it.
Yeah.
Crane work and to pick up.
In this case, you would have to roll up the
Yeah.
doors.
We get the 290.
So I would suggest the board approve the contract prices. There's no other reason not to.
So what we would do was we would enter into a contract with Frisco for the original bid amount, but turn around immediately and give them a deductive change order, number 1, to get them down to this 264, which we would process the documents at the same time.
And then that we were not out in.
That's right.
So,
All right. We've heard the recommendation of our engineer. Moved by Mitch, second by Mr. Ronald. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And the main office build out in the interior, we're having a pre-bid meeting this Wednesday. We are bidding the project on April the 27th at 10 a.m. And I would expect this one's going to be high. So I don't know what your insurance limit is, and you might not want to say that publicly right now. But it's gonna, I think it's going to be high.
That's a good point.
But we can use money from that bond issue
For that
for
office.
what of the excess we have, is that correct?
Yeah.
I think so.
Sorry. Hey, sorry about that.
Then we have excess to repair our office and our other building. We can't use excess money left over.
As long as repairs related to Ida, then yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, that was a good.
That's all related.
That was a good answer.
That would be a couple
That's
$100.
what we wanted to hear.
That concludes my report.
Joe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
the second, our limits?
I didn't
No,
see.
you had
I
one
don't have that about
six.
six. So, Eddie's Hurricane Ida repairs, that was the pictures that we showed. We had some scouring on the outside of the levee, in the 88th area, between, pump station 4 and the turn at the southernmost end. We had our limits go there and take some material from the protected side berm that we had in excess, and they dropped it on the other side and graded out. It all looks really, really good. We have their invoice number 277 in the amount of $21,965 even, and we do recommend that for payment.
All righty, you've heard the recommendation of our engineer to pay invoice number 277 to our limits contractors in the amount of $21,965 for levee repairs. Moved by Brian, seconded by Mitch. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, GIS, gentlemen.
John Plaisance with GIS Engineering. We have several projects, of course, going on with y'all right now. First on our list is the 80s Volume Water Retention Project. We're still kind of coordinating the permits and the utility and pipeline companies in there. But we've got the plans and specifications ready. Once we get all the permits, let us have no objection to servitudes that we can go ahead and get that done. Of course, our latest estimate is a little over $1 million. Actually, I think it's 1.5. So, like Joe said earlier, once everything gets back to normal, hopefully that'll
So
stay.
there really is a water retention plan. I mean,
Correct.
we are good.
Correct. Okay. Moving on, the D-South flood wall improvements, phase 1 is essentially complete. I think y'all approved the retainage, the payment of retainage at last month's meeting for that, so phase 1 will probably not show up again. Hurricane Ida efforts, again, is pretty much complete. We'll probably have something pop up at some point on that project. Just Murphy's Law kind of thing. We don't really expect anything, but you know, Murphy's Law. Phase 2, sea level has awarded this project and given notice to proceed back in January. They have demolished a concrete T-wall and have started driving steel piles that will hold up the new steel sheet pile wall. We have pay act number 2 in the amount of $561,485.48 to present to you today.
And who is that?
Sea level
Sea level.
construction.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard the recommendation of our engineer to pay sea level, pay request number 2 in the amount of $561,485.48. Moved by Roland Guidry, second by Roland Curall. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We also have a change order number 1 for our sea level, a credit of $11,000 to the board. We did not have to use as much discharge pipe as we originally thought they would, and they were going to move the surveying over to GIS engineering. So those two will provide a credit to the board of $11,000.
Do we have to do anything with
We
this?
need to approve that change order.
All right, we've heard the recommendation of engineer to accept the change order number 1 in the amount of $11,000. Moved by Mitch, second by Mac. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We also have amendment number 9, which is amendment to our contract with y'all, GIS Engineering and the board, an increase of $13,882.50, again for that survey and some additional resident project representative work.
Okay. You've heard the recommendation of our engineer to pay amendment number 9 in the amount of $13,882.50 to GIS engineer. Moved by Mr. Ramos, second by Mac. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We are also, first of all, phase 2 should be complete. They're estimating the first week of June, so well in advance of hurricane season. We do also, we're working on phase 2A of the project, which will link what we built in phase 1 and 2 back with the levee. We've made a submittal to CPRA on our recommendations for that, but that is 2 gaps about 100 feet. You know, we kind of really think we should wait until things calm down a bit, but in the meantime, we're working with Wendell and Craig on temporary.
Yeah, at worst, you can set up some escrow baskets on top of concrete, and escrows have worked pretty well for us. So last storm, we had escrows on the roof ramp, and got the water, came up, put on there, and did a good job. So until we feel confident about what that solution should be, like I said, we'll have the escrow basket ready.
And that is still, it's about a plus 12, I think, in that area.
And then at 16, the side of that.
The levee is 16 and the wall will be 18. And the levee eventually will get up to 18. We just haven't quite gotten there on both sides yet. Dinard Ramp, which is the one at the Loop facility, we took bids on that last week. The low bid on that project was $960,000 or so. Our estimate was well below that. We took bids on this last year, and about $750,000 was the low bid. We did about $100,000 worth. The Levee District did about $100,000 worth of work, and it still went up $200,000. So we're still talking with Wendell a little bit on that. We'll probably, in fact, our paperwork's, Lemoyne was the low bidder. The bid was perfectly fine, but we'll probably talk some more over the next few weeks, and next month we'll be up and decide whether or not to accept that or reject those bids. And on your plans.
There was some items in there that just didn't make any sense. I mean, we got dirt sitting right there, all the dirt in and they want to charge $19,000 cubic foot. 19,000.
Well,
I
actually,
mean, this shouldn't cost more than $300 at most to get 19,000 cubic foot. I say the same don't make sense.
yeah, it was silly. So again, next month we'll have some more information on that for you. The Grand Bayou flood control structure, as Wendell mentioned in his report, had the final closeout, basically teaching Drake how to operate the gate with along with the Terrebonne Lake District. Again, that full release of retainage, I think, was approved at last month's meeting. Hurricane work over there is still same thing like it. The south flood wall, there's none right now. We don't expect any, but we're not guaranteed. We're preparing the as-built drawings and operation maintenance manuals to get to y'all in the next couple of weeks. Reconnection of Brent Canal to Bayou Lafourche, that is the siphons Wendell was talking about in Brent Canal. We're progressing with that one. We should be ready for that in the summer for bid. And the 4-lane sinkhole repairs, that is at the Apache site in Golden Meadow. SBL was the contractor on that one. They have finished more or less with it. They still have a little bit of trestle work to do. And we have also asked them to pour concrete base around the top of that. Yeah, that's all I have.
Great, John?
John, y'all have amendment number 7 for emergency services during IDA?
Oh, I'm sorry. See, I told you in Murphy's Law there was something for the hurricanes. Yeah, the hurricane item, it's amendment number 7, that would be an increase to our contract with y'all as well.
That's just 25,000 because y'all want.
It's a time and material thing. If
You
we do
forgot.
the work, we can bill y'all. If we don't do the
That
work, we
was
don't bill
Murphy's
y'all.
volumes? Jeez.
Okay, that's good. We get approved. Moved by Mitch, second by Mr. Ronald, that we approve amendment number 7, amount of $25,000 for Hurricane Out Emergency Services, GIF. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron.
It was on there.
All right. Next, thanks to that, Fisciola, Neil.
All right, on the Seaside levee improvements, this is a segment from Apache Farm down to the base on pump station. I met with the contractor last week, Grand Isle Shipyard, to talk about the change order work. They're going to be mobilizing back in this week to begin that work. And we're going to begin focusing on the ground improvements first to try and get that up to the height objective of plus 16 for that area, not hurricane season, and then secondary to that, we're going to continue working on all the inside burn and levee improvements. On the Rose Flood Wall height improvements, that contractor was sea level construction. They were eligible last week for the clearing certificate. I am expecting to get that from them this week, and that should be before the board at the next meeting for approval. Also, we have hurricane auto repairs on Seaside. We're recommending invoice from Compo & Sons in the amount of $50,025.00. This is for debris and levee improvements on the Seaside project that they've been working on.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard the recommendation of engineer to pay Compo & Sons invoice 1053, an amount of $50,025. Moved by Mitch, second by Roman Curall. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and also on section D South, this is the segment south of the loop behind the Crawfish Farm. We're recommending approval of invoice number 1052 from Compo & Sons in the amount of $23,170. This is for some levee improvements they're making due to hurricane out erosion on the levee.
All right, you've heard the recommendation of engineer, pay Compo & Sons invoice number 1052, an amount of $23,170. Moved by Roland Gitters, second by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
That's all I have.
Thanks, Neil.
All right, thank you.
Dr. Coles. Nobody here. All South Consulting Engineering, Mr. Smith.
Yes, sir. So first item is the amendment to our current contract for program management. This is the same amendment that y'all voted for last time, basically, except for our current contract. It's just strictly the terms to help us get the reimbursement for the services we provide. Which I guess that's just.
Okay, so we need a. All right, you've heard the recommendation from our engineer to accept amendment number 7 to add the FEMA term. Moved by Matt, second by Mr. Ronald. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next item is the emergency rehabilitation for Reach K, Levee Exponenter, phase 2 from sea level. So this is, first one is a balancing change order for number 6 in the amount of $11,509.25. This is a credit. Basically, they didn't use enough. They didn't use as much material as they thought they would. So basically, deducting $11,000 off their of the next pay request.
All right. You've heard the recommendation of engineer to accept change order number 6 as a credit in the amount of $11,509.25. Moved by Mitch, second by Roland Curall. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next item is pay request number 14 in the amount of $58,231.66. This is the final payment plus retainage for this project, and we will close it out.
And that's the sea level. Okay, you heard the recommendation of the engineer to pay request number 14 in the amount of $58,231.66 to sea level. Need a motion by Mr. Ronald, second by Brian. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Next item is pay request number 9 for the supply and delivery materials from material loss at Beach K, in the amount of $102,000, $102,850. And it's a final invoice plus retainage, and that will close it out.
Okay, and that is to,
I don't have that in my notes, unfortunately.
you know what?
Right now,
Okay.
I think it's
Right.
uh,
Oh,
sea level, I think it's sea level.
you heard the recommendation of our engineer, pay request number 9, in the amount of $102,850. Moved by Mack, second by Locuro. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And finally, there's the hurricane island removal, which we are done working with the contract, basically Dynamic. We're just waiting for their final invoices. Mr. Drake and Mr. Phil from our office have run the levee, and they've given it the okay, basically. Any damages and whatnot that they have withstanding is going to be deducted from their retainage and the other invoice that they have. All South is currently working with Southwest District to make sure that working through the FEMA process and pushing everything to projects and whatnot. For the $3 million that's coming in soon, hopefully, is the plan. Talking in very close contact with GOSEP to make sure that comes in as soon as possible so that we can get those invoices paid.
One question for you. Item number 2, bird anti-lobbying certification. You skipped through that, and that goes in.
That's in the amendment number 7. That's the same thing. It's just the same theme of language, basically. It's just something that we're not going to lobby for more stuff.
Any questions for young Mr. Smith? Thank you. Okay, legal permit right away, Mitch.
All right, this month we have 2 of them, the Town of Golden Meadow and Coral Marine Services, LLC. After reviewing these 2, looking the board's approval.
Okay. A motion by Mitch, Chairman of the Permits Committee. Second by Mr. Ron. Second by Mr. Ron. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's it. Mr. Board Attorney?
Nothing, Mr. President.
Board? Finance Committee? One is not here.
We've looked at all the invoices and approved, and recommend approval to pay them.
Motion by Mr. Ronald, second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, any old business? Any old business? Any new business?
Just one item, we've been talking to the Corps about trying to get back to their, rehabilitation program. So if we want to go to FEMA, they can do repair and levy at their cost. And they want to meet with our engineers and see what our plan is and start the process to maybe get back in, depending on if we can agree to their terms, if they can agree to ours. So they did contact me, talk about meeting at the end of April. So I don't know if y'all got any notice of it, but I'll get with Jennifer Stevens, I think Jennifer Stevens, and we're getting a meeting time, have a discussion at the court office.
Certification.
Okay. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know if everybody knew that we had our hired Roddy Pierce. He's working for us.
You know, I gave the authority to
Right.
personnel to make
He was hired and worked out very well.
Any need for executive session? Motion?
I'm moved.
Moved by Mr. Ronald, second by Mac, and we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.